Hello, my name is Kenton Hunt. I am the Disaster Relief Director for the Baptist Resource Network of Pennsylvania and South Jersey. I'm here today to talk to you about Ready Church. What is Ready Church, and how can the Baptist Resource Network help you become a Ready Church? There have been many times when I've spoken to pastors and they ask me questions about the relevance of disaster relief for their local church in their context. That is what Ready Church is about. How can you use the ministry of disaster relief in your context? And so I'm very happy to share these things with you. It'd be good to look at some scripture because that's what drives us. And we want Jesus to be our example and to be our guide in this ministry. And the first passage I'm thinking of is in Matthew. There are many, but Matthew chapter 4 says that Jesus went through all Galilee, teaching in their synagogues and proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom and healing every disease and every affliction among the people. We concentrate a lot about telling people the good news of Jesus Christ. And what I'm suggesting to your church, regardless of whether you're involved in disaster relief or not, is that you are a church that's not only proclaiming the good news of Jesus Christ, but you're reaching out and meeting actual human need. That's what we do in disaster relief. And then in this passage, Jesus couples those things. Proclamation of the word and the ministry to real human beings meeting their needs. If we go over one chapter where Jesus has begun his great Sermon on the Mount, he says, you are the salt of the earth. He says, you are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden, nor do people light a lamp and put it under a basket, but on a stand, and it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father who is in heaven. I know that when your church gets involved in meeting the immediate concerns of the community, there's a good chance that attention is going to be brought to you, your church, and who you are, what you do. And that's a good thing. It's interesting to me that Jesus says here that we are to do our good works and that those good works are to be seen. Now, I know he didn't mean that we're supposed to gather all the glory to ourselves, because he goes on to say that when people see your good works, they will give our Father the glory. And so that's what we want to happen in disaster relief. So you engage in meeting real needs of the community, you engage in the proclamation of the gospel, and if you are seen doing that and glory comes your way, you get to point people to Jesus Christ. To the one who motivates you to do those good things. Again, that's what disaster relief is about. Third passage that I want us to launch off of is in Titus chapter 3, the end of verse 1 and verse 14. It says, be ready for every good work. Our people must also learn to devote themselves to good works for cases of urgent needs, so that they will not be unfruitful. I can't think of a better verse that describes disaster relief. This verse talks about being ready. And so we go to the work of getting ready to meet urgent needs, but we don't just get ready, because we need to respond. When the need arises, we get on our feet, we put our beliefs into action, we move out and we meet those human needs. And I believe that's why in verse 14 it says, so that they will not be unfruitful. We want to be fruitful. We don't want to just talk about doing ministry. We want to do it. And so in the doing of the ministry, we bear fruit for the glory of God. So in Ready Church, what we're talking about is your church committed to meeting critical needs through preparation, through connection, and then through response. So you're a Ready Church when you assess your community. Sometimes we call it exegeting the community. And what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about you and your church understanding your community and understanding your context. knowing who it is that you live among, knowing and then understanding the needs that exist in your community. And so when you assess your community, you are gaining a broader understanding of who the people are in your community, demographics, interests, concerns, but you're also identifying the things that are concerning to the people in your community. And so you start building a list. It's about as practical as that. You begin building a list of what those perceived needs are. The second step, after you've assessed your community, is that you target needs. It's very possible that as you're building this list of needs, it's going to be a list much larger than what your church wants to tackle or can tackle. And so you want to seek God's leading in the meeting of those needs. You say, Lord God, we see what you're showing us. What is it you want us to do? How do you want us to step up and meet these needs? And so you ask the Lord to help you identify those needs that your church should be targeting. The third step then is to train to the task. After you've identified the needs that the Lord is leading you to meet, then you want to begin equipping your people to meet those very needs. And so you equip yourself with knowledge, with skills, strategies, so that you can respond to real needs that arise suddenly, those urgent needs, so that you can meet them quickly, so you can meet them confidently and competently. You need to know what you're doing. So you train to the task, and then like we saw in Titus, we don't just prepare, but we respond. And so step 4 would be, when the need arises, you go. I'm calling those go teams. A go team helps you extend into the community the ministry and the giftedness of your congregation by sending prepared missionaries into the community to bring help at just the right time. In a nutshell, that's what a Ready Church is. Now, how can the Baptist Resource Network help your church become a Ready Church? Well, let's start with step 1, assessing the needs of your community. We have several tools that we can put in the hands of you, your pastor, your missions team leader, your whatever you have in leadership place. We can put this tool in your hands that'll help walk you through a process of identifying your context and identifying the needs in your community. The second way that the BRN, can help you become a Ready Church is that we can prepare your families to be ready for disaster. We can do this in a formal way or just simply by providing some materials that you or a leader in your church can present to the family. It's not difficult stuff. It's actually it's fun to walk through and to think about and to prepare for. But we can help your families anticipate the hazards that your community may be vulnerable to. We can help your families develop a plan to not just survive a disaster, but to bring Jesus into the disaster to their neighbors. Secondly, we can help your church prepare for disaster. What kind of strength does your church have? What kind of assets, facilities, resources does your church have that you could bring to bear in helping your church or your community get back on its feet after disaster? We can help you develop strategies for that kind of a response. We can help you also by assisting you to create a training process with relevant content that applies specifically to the idea of training to the task. And then finally, we can help you by strengthening your ability to be a beacon in your community. Now, what do I mean by that? I want you to think about something. A lot of pastors and a lot of churches, when something big hits the community, want to help, but they may be afraid to step forward. They may be hesitant because of doubts they have about their own knowledge and ability to do anything in that situation. Maybe they feel like their congregation is too small or too old or too young, or so many reasons that a pastor may not say, "Here I am and here we are. How can we help?" What I'm saying to you is that the Lord is calling you to put yourself into that situation because He wants to be known. He wants to become famous. And how's He going to do that? Well, He's going to do that through His people. And so I'm urging you, Pastor, I'm urging you, church, to step in, to be ready for that urgent need and to step into it, to meet it. The part about us helping you be a beacon in your community, well, the reason you can have confidence in doing this is because you are not alone. Not only are there other churches in your community who want to help do the same thing and you all can work together, but you also need to know that Southern Baptist Disaster Relief in Pennsylvania and South Jersey has nearly 700 trained volunteers. And I can't tell you that all of them can respond at once. No, that would be unrealistic. But there is always a group of those trained volunteers who want to come help you, want to come help your church. So you have the confidence of knowing that if you step out and reach out to your community and say, "We can help, tell us what you need," that if you need help, if the need is bigger than you can give me a call and I will try to rally the troops to come in and extend your reach further into the community. And you know what? If the need is so large that I can't help you meet that need, I've got friends in neighboring states and across the country that I can call too. 65,000 other trained volunteers in disaster relief, and they will come help if the need is that great. You've probably heard about that happening. It's a wonderful thing to watch happen when the people of God band together to meet those urgent needs. So don't be afraid to step out and to offer yourself as a hand of help in your community. The fourth way that the Baptist Resource Network can help you prepare for disaster is by working with your leadership. You know, when something like this happens, how are you organized, and what is it that you need to know in order to interact with the disaster relief community that already exists in your county or in your town or city? What about those other disaster relief organizations that are voluntary? Who are they and how do they operate and what do they do? We can help you get up to speed in a very easy and concise way. Sort of teach you the language that has become specialized in the world of disaster relief. But we can get you up to speed on that and help you become organized and pray with you and keep on encouraging you to do that. Well, I hope you have some questions about being a ready church. It could be that you have some trained disaster relief volunteers in your congregation already. If you do, then you are more equipped than you may think. There will be opportunities coming up for the people in your congregation to become trained in disaster relief. And so I urge you to go to dr.brnonline.org to find out where we're doing trainings, when we're doing trainings, and what kind of responses are going on. There's also a library of resources that you can look at that will get you an idea, at least, of what we do and how we train. And I'd love to hear from you and help you grow in your ability to meet urgent needs. Thank you very much.